Thank you. It's great to be back. It's such a beautiful day for this event. The weather couldn't be better. Don't you agree? I love the warm weather. And I applaud the Center for the Book and the National Literacy Society for the Deaf, NLSD, for this historical partnership. You have a lot to celebrate. Thank you, Ricardo, for sharing the history of NLSD. And I was looking at your slides, I was realizing that NAD was established slightly before that, but you have such a rich history. And honestly, many National Association of the Deaf were part of NLSD. So both organizations have literacy in their heart. So thank you for that presentation. This partnership is very significant and symbolic. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I was born deaf. Like 90% of deaf children, we're born to hearing parents. My parents were not college educated, but they included me and instilled in me the love of books from a very early age. Our house was always full of books and magazines. We often read and discussed and talked about what was happening, and we learned from the things that we read. When I was 3, my mom said to me, "It's time to go to the neighborhood library." And it became a tradition that we kept. And the library became my second home. For me, reading opens up a world of magic, as Bob said. Magic and opportunity. And this remains true to today. I read books wherever I go. Vacation, at work, wherever I am. So it's a special treat for me to be here on this historical day and on this historical occasion. Text, the printed word, through any form, books, magazines, newspapers, the internet, mobile devices. It's an important part of the American deaf community. We are visual people. We see the world through our eyes. So the printed word is quite important to us. We had our own newspapers in the days past. Different organizations, clubs, had their own newspapers. These have dwindled over the years, but we now have blogs. And they encourage literacy and reading. It's also important to put things in perspective. Text access. Phones didn't become accessible until the 70s when we finally had TTYs. Text access to TVs didn't become available until the 80s when we finally got captioning. And now we're struggling to get movies captioned, and this is our next hurdle. Things are happening, and it's moving slowly and gaining access, but not as fast as we would like. And not long ago, we can see that we've been fighting for our access. And these little things that have happened are part of history. And PBS, through Deaf Eyes, that was mentioned, this will be highlighted this afternoon. And I encourage you to stay and see this. NLSD, with your rich history, and now your collaborations, and also with NAD established in the 1980s, we see changes. We see people fighting and our organizations fighting for civil rights for the American deaf community. And we have a library friends section. The chairperson, Amy Bopp, is she here? She's not here. Her, with Alice Hagmeyer, were instrumental. Library of Friends and Friends of the Library for the Deaf Action and NLSD. Between the three of them, they promoted reading and literacy and writing. They encouraged affiliations for their membership at large to make greater use of the neighborhood library and expand library resources to include deaf culture and ASL and deaf heritage and materials related to that. And to use those materials, especially by parents who have deaf children, and to promote reading and inspire them to read and write and to develop those skills. Remember, I mentioned 90% of deaf children are born to hearing parents. So the library plays an important role. It's also important for the library to have the materials that they need. We take special pride in the collaboration and the efforts with NAD between the Library of Friends and NLSD. So from all of us at NAD, we congratulate you, NLSD, on your 100th anniversary and your partnership with the Center for Book. Congratulations, and we look forward to many more years of collaborative work, working together and supporting your efforts. Thank you.